Guys, hello again. It's raining in South Florida. I'm heading home. Just got off the... Well, actually, I got off the air 40 minutes ago, and I had to go to the bank. So I'm leaving the bank. Oh, my gosh. They don't have the vote. You know, yesterday with the Senate hearing with the Inspector General was just a complete 100% disaster for the Democrats. They don't have the votes. They have no evidence. They got a light case. They had such a weak case. They had to bring in these law professors to tell you, it doesn't look like a crime. He committed one. And that Inspector General, well, they already had Democrats that had defected. Before the hearing yesterday with the Inspector General, they already had 6 Democrats defect before that hearing. Yesterday, Inspector General comes out. Lindsey Graham and the Republicans just do a masterful job exposing the coup and the spying on the president and everything else. So they're in trouble, which is good for us because we don't want them to win the vote. I know a lot of Republicans say we want the trial. I don't want to try. I don't want Trump to be impeached. I'm sorry. I don't want his memory to always be followed by these Democrat creeps from now for the rest of my days that Trump was impeached. I don't want that. So I don't support this idea of going to a Senate trial. And the Democrats, they have 30 or so Democrats that are in Trump districts. Now remember, the entire House is up for re-election every 2 years. So they've already lost 6. They can only lose a total of 17. And the Washington Post reported yesterday that many more than half a dozen Democrats want to vote no on impeachment. So I'm telling you, I don't think they have the votes. Now that doesn't mean they're going to lose, because right now what Pelosi is doing is what they did with Obamacare. They're doing everything they can. They're promising these Democrats that won't vote yes on impeachment everything they could promise them: jobs, committee appointments, earmarks. They're doing whatever they can do to get them to vote with them. So that's what's going on from now until next week when they have the vote. I don't think they have the votes. That's just me, based on everything we're seeing right now, especially after Horowitz yesterday with the Republicans just was devastating. So, and this is very important, because I know even President Trump has said he welcomes the trial. You don't want a trial in the Senate. And I hear more people after yesterday that are Republicans, that are Trump people, saying they want to try. That hearing yesterday is not how the trial works. I was talking about this on the radio yesterday. So some of you may have seen me talk about this, but it's very, very important. Yesterday was a committee hearing, and the committee chairman was in charge of the hearing. If there's a trial, it's not a committee hearing. It's an actual trial. There's a defense and a prosecution team, and it's presided by a judge, and the judge is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts. It's not Lindsey Graham and the senators just sit there and listen. And the Chief Justice, John Roberts, will be deciding who's out of line and who can talk, blather, blather, blather. And John Roberts is a never-Trumper. The Chief Justice was appointed by Bush, and he betrayed us on Obamacare back in 2010. So I don't trust John Roberts. Yeah. That's exactly right. Fruit of the poisonous tree. I couldn't believe yesterday in the hearing with the Inspector General when he agreed that the agents that were supposed to be giving security briefings to President Trump were really spying on him. I mean, that's outrage. And, Durham and Barr are going to come with indictments. You could tell by the Barr interview earlier this week. The Attorney General said, why did they not tell Trump in the campaign? He says, these things happen all the time. Foreign influence is trying to funnel money into a campaign. Law enforcement finds out about it. They let the campaign know, but they didn't. And then they said, what about after he won the election? They were still doing it. He was the president then, or the president-elect. That was Barr. So that tells you where Barr's at. And Barr is updated on the status of the Durham investigation. So that interview with Barr earlier this week is very, very revealing about what the future holds with all of this. Be some big indictments coming down with Durham and Barr. It's going to be something we've never seen. And they can call it political all they want. It's not political. These people, what they did was wrong. And it shouldn't happen to it shouldn't happen to a Democrat. It should not just Trump. What they did shouldn't, it's like Trump says, it shouldn't happen to any president ever in the future. And Barr agrees. So that's the way it is. Finally we're getting to the end of this. I'm sorry guys, I can look at the chat when I stop at a light. I don't want to read the chat while I'm driving. Especially it's kind of rainy out, wet road. So I apologize. You can chat amongst yourselves. Oh my goodness. I'm so exhausted from this freaking coup. This coup has been going on since the primaries, really. I mean, remember how they were going to try to have a brokered convention? See, this is something I've talked about this in the past. See, I don't think the Republican establishment was ever going for a brokered convention. I think that was a lie they came up with. And if you remember, what they did with that was unbelievable. They brought Manafort, came in as the campaign manager because they thought they were going to have a brokered convention. And if you remember back then, what they were saying about Manafort, we haven't had a brokered convention since, I don't know, was it Truman? And you're going to have to wrangle the delegates. And Manafort is the only man who knows how to handle the broker convention. Manafort is the only man who knows how to wrangle delegates. Remember that? So Trump brought in Manafort, and then boom, they got him jammed up. So, Manafort was part of their operation too, to jam Trump up by putting this guy that had a very questionable background in the on the Trump campaign. Oh, there's some freaking construction. I got to take an alternate route that I don't want to take. Oh well. Construction on a rainy day during a busy travel time. I'm not even sure where this road goes if I continue this way. I'll figure it out. All roads lead to Rome. I'll find my way home. Exactly. That whole thing with Manafort. So and I still think that, a lot of people don't talk about that, but that brokered convention, they weren't going to do a brokered convention. Oh, Trump. Well, when I was at the Trump rally 2 weeks ago here in South Florida, I saw a president that didn't have a worry in the world. He is so chill. And even if you saw him in the rally in Pennsylvania, does Trump look like he's worried? If Trump's not worried, we don't have to worry, and Trump will take care of it. When has Trump ever lost anything in his life? Right? Trump never loses. He knows exactly what he's doing. What's February 3rd? Is that a date I should know? February 3rd? I don't know what February 3rd is. See, it was rainy, but now the sun's out. That's how Florida is. Oh boy, make sure you guys subscribe, by the way. Oh, Iowa. Yeah. Well, when the Democrat primaries start, that's when things are going to get turned upside down. I read today that they're saying Buttigieg is in the lead in New Hampshire. I mean, talk about a weakling. I mean, what? I don't even know if this road is going anywhere. This road might dead end. Oh my goodness. Buttigieg has zero accomplishments. The only accomplishment of Buttigieg is he pisses off the black people in his town because they seem to hate Buttigieg. Okay, I know where this road goes. I know where I'm going. It's hard. You can't get lost in Florida. If you can remember where the beach is, you always know where you're going. Sanders is going to win Iowa? Yeah, another a multi-millionaire communist. Don't you love it? How many millionaire socialist communists do they have? I can't wait for AOC to make her millions, because she will. She will. That'll be the best. When a Democratic socialist becomes a millionaire. This road I'm on now, I don't like taking because the speed limit is very difficult. The speed limit is 30 miles an hour. And it's very difficult to go 30 miles an hour. And they have speed traps set up all over it. So I really don't take this road too much. Yeah, they're heartless. I mean, it's like they treat it like a school zone. You go 1 or 2 miles an hour over 30, and they'll pull people over. So basically, I'm idling 30 miles an hour. I know it's ridiculous, isn't it? 30. You know how difficult it is to drive 30 miles an hour in a car? It ain't easy. I can ride my bike faster than this. Well, America's nightmare will be over when this impeachment fails. When even if they get the impeachment passed and it goes to the Senate. Yeah, she hasn't written a book yet, has she, AOC? I want that Democratic socialist to make her first million. I want her to be a millionaire. Yeah, there's 30 miles an hour, no passing. Speed trap city here. I don't know what she made off of that Netflix deal. That's a good question. I don't know. Make sure you guys subscribe, and everybody that already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that. Also, I've got a Patreon. It's there's a link to my Patreon and all my YouTube videos. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, got some good people there's all kinds of exclusive benefits for that. There's all kind of perks. Oh, Trump's awesome. That was my first rally that I went to with Trump as president. I only went to one other rally when he was a candidate, and it's so nice when he's the president. I mean, you hear Marine One fly over the arena. The Marine One was vibrating the walls. It was absolutely amazing. Oh, great. Get 5 more. Subscribe on those too. Yeah, it's very hard. Well, thank you, Cindy. It's very hard for conservatives to grow in the internet world. Is very difficult. Plus, I'm so spread out. I'm on every platform. My podcast is on like over 50 different platforms. Every week, I find out more places that carry my podcast. But I've been podcasting for like 8 or 9 years, so I've got a humongous podcast listenership, but I'm trying to build up YouTube. It's difficult for conservatives to build up on YouTube, so. Well, I was reading this morning that Lou is out for surgery, so I don't know if they'll have him back to vote next week. That's another vote lost. I remember when Bill Clinton was being impeached, there was a story on one of the networks I saw. It was hilarious. There were Democrats that they were making sure they had every Democrat vote in. And some of them were in the hospital. There was one person that was facing criminal charges, and they all over the country, they flew him back to Washington so they could vote no on impeachment. That was when Bill Clinton was being impeached. Oh, Trump has a rally today? See, the way this guy back here is flashing people his lights because they're only driving 30 miles an hour. Go past everybody and punch it. Let's see how far you get, buddy. And what they do is, on this speed trap road, they don't stop you on the road. See, all these people now, everyone's going slow. They clock you, and then they catch you at the end. They got 2. They got one who doesn't leave, and then they got another one who sits up here and waits and catches you. You think you got away with it, and then they get you. I hate speed traps. I do. Not that I'm a big speeder, but, leave people alone. They're driving to work. Oh. TJ Maxx in Coral Springs. Oh, okay. I'll check it out. Yeah, I was at Kohl's yesterday. Oh my goodness, you would think Disney owns Kohl's. They have so much Star Wars gear at Kohl's, and the prices are good. I like Kohl's. Got all those Kohl's bucks and everything going on. Oh man, I'm wiped out. After I get off the air, I get wiped out. It's like when you're on the air, it's like a big adrenaline push. You can't wait for the Rise of Skywalker? Well, I'm not a big fan of these new movies. So, $9.99, well, that's a great deal. So, basically, Rise of Skywalker is, I want to see how much it sucks. Because there's a guy I watch on YouTube who is really good. His name is Doomcock. Anybody know who Doomcock is? He's hilarious. He's got a great YouTube channel. And he does incredible videos on Star Wars and other things, the new Star Trek shows, and does just scathing reviews filled with spoilers. He's a hilarious. You got to check him out. Doomcock is his name, and he's got a very good YouTube channel. In fact, he's got a new video. I was just watching it this morning before I went on the air. Just dropped last night. It's very good. Doomcock. You can also look at him. Overlord DVD is also either one of those names. You can find him. Doomcock or Overlord DVD. He's got a great YouTube channel, this guy, and he's very funny. He's got to be a Hollywood writer. The way he talks is he's very good, very funny. The Force Awakens was not all right. None of those movies are all right. I'm here to tell you, they're abominations. Doomcock calls J.J. Abrams Jar Jar Abrams. He's very, very funny. These movies are abominations. Abominations. Remember those? We talked about those. No, I don't really believe they have the votes. It's really disgusting what they're doing. You know, and that line yesterday with Nadler saying we can't rely on elections. I mean, what the hell kind of comment is that to say for an American? We can't rely on elections. This is like what they're dealing with in the UK with Brexit. They're never going to leave the EU. I have realized that. I feel so sorry for the people of the UK. The powers that be just will not let Brexit happen. You think our people look down at us. They still have a class system over there. So the ruling elite in the UK really don't they despise the people more than our government despises the people. Or at least our Democrats, like Nadler. You know, no matter how this vote turns out in the UK, they're not going to let them. There's just the powers that be with the UK in the EU, and that's the way it is. They won't let them out. I mean, it was a clear vote, in or out. They voted for out. And they're still in it. How long ago was that vote? 2 years? And they're still in? Come on. Remember they were attacking Trump for interfering in the UK elections because he came out in favor of Brexit. They just can't give this guy a break. They hate Trump. They despise us. They hate us more than Trump. Really. 3 years since the vote? Outrageous. Thankfully, well, you know, this is why we had a revolution. I mean, they might as well still have a freaking king over there. I mean, they had a nationwide election. The people voted Brexit overwhelmingly. I don't know offhand what the vote was now, but it was not even close, Brexit. And here they are years later, and they're still in. And when's the last time you heard about Tommy Robinson? You know? Haven't heard that name in a while. It's terrible. I feel so bad for the people of the UK because they're not in a free society. It's easier for the establishment in the UK to control the people because it's such a smaller country. Over here, it's a much bigger country. It's hard for them to control us as much, but they're trying. I was so happy in the UK when Brexit passed, and here we are, boom. They got, you know, it's really sad. You know, Democracy, in many cases, is an illusion. You know, there's all this talk about nation building and free and fair elections. They had a free and fair election, and the powers that be just ignored the will of the people, like Nadler's doing here with us with Trump. We can't rely on elections. Wow. You know, if we lose an election, it's awful, but you know, there's another election. You put up a good candidate and you organize and you try to win it. You know, but if your side is rejected, that's the way it is. You got to suck it up. When Obama was elected and reelected, I wasn't happy. I never voted for Obama, but we had to wait it out. You know, and boom, we won one, and they hate us for it. Well, the Democrats thought that Republicans were done for after Obama. They thought the Democrats were going to be running the government, running the White House for decades. And, you know, Obama was so disliked and such a do-nothing, you know. I mean, Obama does have a lot of responsibility for Trump's election. Trump was Trump was back in 2012 talking about running, remember? And he didn't. He was smart not to run against Obama. Running against an incumbent's tough anyway. And they were I remember the establishment and the media, when he was just thinking about running back in 2012, were having meltdowns already. I was supporting Trump back then. I remember he went out and had pizza with Sarah Palin, remember? Because Sarah Palin was still relevant, and it was like, this is great. I was very excited about Trump then. And I would talk about it on the radio back then, and people would go, no, Trump, no. Well, we won. We're going to win re-election. Even if they impeach him in the House, we're going to win in the Senate. So, you know, it was nice to see those Republicans united in the Senate yesterday. You don't really see Republicans united all that much, do you? Not really. Not really. All right, guys, I am almost home. So, listen, if you don't, subscribe. Okay, click the notification bell, and if you'd like, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of the video. All right, guys, I'll see you later.